What if everything you thought you knew about relationships, power, and influence was wrong? Niccolò Machiavelli understood the true nature of power better than anyone, uncovered this hidden reality centuries ago. The dynamics between men and women are far more complex than we've been led to believe. Beneath the surface, there exists a game of control and influence that most of us are unaware of. In The Prince, he exposed the brutal, unspoken rules of manipulation, control, and influence. His insights weren't just about rulers and kings. They revealed a universal truth about human nature and the subtle ways in which we influence and control one another. Machiavelli's discoveries transcend politics. They offer us a lens to understand how power dynamics shape every interaction, whether romantic, professional, or social. In today's world, the forces Machiavelli described are everywhere, playing out in ways we often fail to recognize. The pressures to conform, the subtle manipulation in our daily interactions. These are not just byproducts of chance. They are intentional systems of influence, designed to shape our thoughts, emotions, and actions. The relationship dynamics between men and women are no exception. These dynamics are carefully constructed, often steering us in ways we don't realize. As we peel back the layers of this hidden reality, we will uncover the forces that shape the way we connect with one another. Forces that have been influencing human behavior for centuries. It's time to ask, are you truly aware of them? And what does it mean for how we live and love in today's world? From the moment women are born, they are shaped, not by their own desires, but by the world around them. Society, through a sophisticated web of media, culture, and deeply ingrained social norms, molds women's perceptions of themselves, their desires, and their worth. We rarely acknowledge how powerful this influence is, but it's there, beneath the surface, manipulating the way women think and act in almost every aspect of their lives. Consider the world of advertising, a billion-dollar industry built on influencing the human psyche. Every day, women are exposed to images of unattainable beauty, perfect lives, and idealized success. But these aren't just images. They are messages encoded with expectations. Women are constantly told who they should be, what they should look like, and what they should want. The beauty industry alone thrives on these manipulations, pushing products designed not to enhance but to fix, to make women feel as though they're lacking something essential. This isn't just surface-level manipulation, it goes deeper. Social conditioning works in subtle, often invisible ways. Women are taught from an early age to value external validation over their own self-worth. This is reinforced through everything from family expectations to media portrayals of women's roles in society. The idea of beauty becomes synonymous with worth, and the pressure to achieve this ideal becomes overwhelming. The power of these external influences is so deep that many women begin to internalize them, shaping their thoughts, desires, and even their sense of self-worth without even realizing it. Psychologists call this normative influence, the subconscious pressure to conform to societal norms in order to be accepted. Women from adolescence onward are taught that their value lies in their appearance, their ability to please others, and their adherence to societal expectations. This results in a deeply ingrained cycle of self-doubt, where women constantly measure themselves against an idealized image of perfection that is impossible to achieve. Consider the way women's aspirations are often framed. The idea of success is often tied to external markers, beauty, wealth, status, rather than personal fulfillment, intellectual achievements, or emotional depth. The impact of this can be profound. Women's thoughts and decisions are frequently shaped by the desire to align with these external expectations. Success is redefined in terms of appearance or relationship status, not personal growth or fulfillment. In the end, it's not just about external pressures, it's about the internalization of those pressures. The hidden forces shaping women's thoughts and behaviors are so deeply embedded in society's expectations that they often become invisible, until you take a step back and ask, who am I really living for? Who controls my desires and aspirations? And how much of my life have I spent living for someone else's vision of who I should be? The true question we must face is, how do we begin to break free from these influences and reclaim our true sense of self? How do we undo the conditioning and find our way back to authenticity? We live in a world where power is often invisible, felt more in the shadows than seen in broad daylight. And when it comes to relationships, whether romantic, professional, or familial, the lines between influence and manipulation are often blurred. At the heart of this power struggle is something that can be difficult to recognize: emotional manipulation. Emotional manipulation is the art of controlling someone's feelings and perceptions to serve another's agenda. Machiavelli understood that power is most effective when the perception of control is subtle, when the individual being manipulated is unaware of the forces guiding their thoughts and actions. In The Prince, he talks about how rulers must control the hearts and minds of their subjects, not through brute force, but by winning their trust and shaping their desires. What Machiavelli did for monarchs, modern manipulators do within relationships, especially between men and women. Take gaslighting, for example, a psychological manipulation where one person seeks to make another doubt their reality, perception, or sanity. It's a term that has become more widely recognized in recent years, but its roots run deep in everyday relationships. Gaslighting can begin subtly. A partner or coworker might say things like, "You're being too sensitive," or "That didn't happen the way you think it did." Over time, these small dismissals erode a person's confidence, making them second-guess their own judgment, emotions, and memories. In a relationship, this kind of manipulation is extremely dangerous because it slowly chips away at a woman's sense of self. This manipulation often takes shape in romantic relationships. A partner might insist they know what's best for her, convincing her that her choices aren't as sound or important as his. "I'm just looking out for you," becomes the excuse for undermining her confidence. The victim starts to believe that her decisions, her thoughts, and even her emotions are flawed. This isn't just emotional manipulation, it's a deeply ingrained tactic designed to break down a woman's autonomy and sense of agency. The impact of this manipulation is profound. Women, particularly those who have been exposed to such behavior over a long period, often experience diminished self-esteem and a loss of independence. The constant undermining of their decisions makes them question their abilities. Self-doubt creeps in, and the more they begin to doubt themselves, the more susceptible they become to further manipulation. Women can become trapped in cycles of trying to please others, whether that's a partner, a boss, or society at large. In their quest for validation, they lose sight of their true desires and their own power. Take the example of emotional blackmail, another tactic often used to manipulate women. When a partner or someone in a position of power uses guilt to control behavior, it creates an unhealthy dependence. "If you really loved me, you would do this for me," or "Look at all I've done for you. The least you could do is this." These statements leverage the victim's emotions, making her feel responsible for the well-being of others, even at the expense of her own mental or emotional health. The woman is manipulated into thinking her happiness is secondary, her needs unimportant, and her desires are selfish. Over time, this type of control saps her energy, her creativity, and her autonomy. Machiavelli's ideas on power and control come into sharp focus when we look at the intersection of gender and power. He believed that power is a fluid, dynamic force that doesn't just reside in one individual or group. It's a constant negotiation between those who seek to control and those who seek to assert their independence. In The Prince, Machiavelli emphasized that rulers must constantly adapt, manipulate perceptions, and be aware of the shifting currents of influence. In modern terms, women's empowerment is both an assertion of autonomy and an invitation to a complex negotiation of power. In romantic relationships, this dynamic plays out in subtle and often unconscious ways. Men and women are both trying to assert their autonomy while maintaining connection, love, and intimacy. In this environment, manipulation doesn't always look like outright control. Sometimes it's disguised as love, care, or protection. A woman might be encouraged to be independent, but at the same time, her partner's behavior subtly undermines her agency, or puts her in a position where she feels she has to prove her independence in ways that ultimately reinforce existing power imbalances. Machiavelli would argue that understanding these dynamics is key to navigating power successfully. He saw power as something that constantly shifts, a negotiation between individuals, and today, women are in the midst of negotiating this power. Not only with men, but with the expectations of a society that doesn't always know how to handle their evolving roles. This complex dance between asserting power and encountering new forms of manipulation is a defining feature of modern relationships. Women are gaining more influence than ever before, yet the complexities of modern gender dynamics suggest that the battle for true equality is far from over. The question remains, how do both genders navigate this new landscape? How can women assert their independence and power without falling prey to new forms of control, both external and internal? And what role do men play in this evolving dance of power and influence? The struggle for power between the genders is not just about confrontation. It's about understanding the subtleties of influence, control, and autonomy in a society where expectations are shifting. In many ways, it's an ongoing negotiation, one where both men and women must redefine what true power means, not just individually, but collectively. There comes a moment in every woman's life when the realization hits, the invisible forces around her, the subtle manipulations she's been subjected to, have shaped much of her life. But this moment also holds something incredibly powerful, the recognition that she doesn't have to stay trapped. Reclaiming one's mind and autonomy isn't an abstract dream. It's a choice that can break the cycle of manipulation and restore her sense of self. To break free from these powerful external influences, the first and most crucial step is self-awareness. Self-awareness is the foundation of all personal empowerment. It means recognizing the patterns in your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, identifying when your actions are being driven by someone else's agenda. This process of introspection allows you to clearly see the forces shaping your mindset, whether they come from media, societal expectations, or personal relationships. You start to realize that many of the beliefs and choices you've made in life weren't truly your own, but were conditioned responses, cultivated by others. Once you see this, you can begin the process of reclaiming your true thoughts, your true desires, and your true self. One of the most vital tools in this process is emotional intelligence. This isn't just about being aware of your emotions. It's about understanding how they drive your decisions and shape your reality. Women are often conditioned to suppress their emotions, to feel guilty for feeling too much, or to apologize for being too emotional. But emotional intelligence teaches you to embrace your feelings without letting them control you. It allows you to separate the truth of your emotions from the external pressures you're facing. Emotional intelligence enables you to tune in, process your feelings, and use that awareness to make decisions that serve your highest good, not someone else's agenda. Boundary setting is another crucial aspect of reclaiming your power. Boundaries are not just about saying no to others. They are about saying yes to yourself. Boundaries give you the space to protect your emotional well-being, to ensure that others cannot overstep into your personal sovereignty. Setting boundaries can feel difficult at first, especially if you've been conditioned to always accommodate others or to put their needs before your own. But in reality, setting clear boundaries is a form of self-respect. It tells the world that you value yourself, your time, and your energy. Boundaries can be emotional, mental, and physical. Emotionally, it means protecting your peace from those who attempt to manipulate or guilt-trip you into serving their needs. Mentally, it involves creating space where your thoughts are no longer overwhelmed by external judgments, allowing you to think independently. Physically, it means refusing to allow anyone to overstep in ways that compromise your comfort and safety. By mastering boundary setting, you begin to take control of your own life, regaining the agency that was lost in the noise of manipulation. On a deeper level, self-empowerment and self-actualization are the bedrock of reclaiming your mind. Empowerment is the realization that you have control over your life, your decisions, and your future. It means taking responsibility for your emotions and actions, refusing to be a passive player in your own life story. Self-empowerment requires you to shift your mindset from feeling like a victim of external forces to recognizing that you have the tools within you to change the narrative. Self-actualization is the process of realizing your fullest potential. the process of becoming the person you are meant to be. It's the pursuit of your passions, your talents, and your purpose. Beyond the constraints of societal expectations or manipulation, it's about shedding the layers of conditioning and stepping into the fullest version of yourself, unapologetically and fearlessly. This journey requires you to trust your intuition, challenge the limiting beliefs that have been ingrained in you, and break free from the patterns that no longer serve you. One of the most powerful methods for this self-liberation is mindfulness. Mindfulness is about living in the present moment with awareness and without judgment. It allows you to observe your thoughts, feelings, and reactions from a place of non-attachment, helping you distinguish between what's truly yours and what has been externally imposed upon you. Mindfulness helps you stay grounded, especially when you feel overwhelmed by the pressures around you. It gives you the space to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, allowing you to regain control over your actions and decisions. While manipulation and societal conditioning have long exerted their control, they do not have to be the final word. Reclaiming your power may not happen overnight, but with the right tools, self-awareness, or the emotional intelligence, boundary setting, and empowerment, it is possible. The journey is not easy, but it is incredibly rewarding. It's a process of rediscovering who you truly are, beyond the manipulation and expectations. It's about remembering that you are the author of your own story, and that no external force can take that away from you. The tools to reclaim your power are in your hands. It's time to step into the person you were always meant to be. A person who understands her worth, trusts her instincts, and knows how to protect her peace. Through this journey, you will not only break free from manipulation, but also create a life that is truly yours, one built on autonomy, authenticity, and unapologetic self-love. Reclaiming your power is not just possible, it's inevitable. True power is not about controlling others. It's about controlling yourself. This is the essence of Machiavelli's philosophy. In The Prince, he teaches rulers to manipulate the perceptions of those around them, but the ultimate power, the kind that lasts, is rooted in self-mastery. Machiavelli understood that the greatest weapon in any power struggle is the ability to control your own emotions, actions, and decisions. It's a lesson that transcends time, one that speaks to the heart of personal empowerment. Think for a moment about the forces that shape your thoughts, desires, and actions. The media, society, your family, friends, your romantic relationships, they all exert a level of influence. These external forces push you in one direction, shaping your reality and dictating who you should be, how you should act, and what you should want. But at what cost? How much of what you believe is truly yours, and how much has been planted in your mind by the world around you? The road to personal freedom begins with one simple question. Who am I, really? It's a question that requires introspection, courage, and honesty. To master yourself is to confront these external influences and recognize them for what they are. Forces that shape, but do not define you. By learning to identify these influences, you begin the process of reclaiming your own thoughts, your own desires, your own identity. Self-awareness is the first tool in this journey. It's about knowing your triggers, your patterns, your beliefs, and your reactions. When you understand how the world has shaped your perceptions, you can start to make conscious choices that align with your true self. Machiavelli's teachings weren't just about domination. They were about understanding the forces that shape human behavior, and more importantly, how to use that understanding to shape your own life. When you gain mastery over yourself, you gain the ability to navigate the world on your own terms. You no longer need to react impulsively to the expectations placed on you. Instead, you can respond from a place of inner strength and clarity. As we close, ask yourself, what would happen if you stopped trying to control others and instead focused all that energy inward? What if you embraced your own mind, trusted your own instincts, and empowered yourself to break free from the chains of societal conditioning? The path to true mastery is not about conquering the world around you. It's about conquering the one thing that truly matters, yourself. True power lies not in control over others, but in control over yourself. This is where your real freedom begins. If you haven't already, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. We're just scratching the surface, and there's so much more to explore together. Stay tuned for more powerful insights and strategies that can help you navigate your emotional world with confidence and clarity. Remember, your path to healthier, more authentic connections starts now. Take action, stay curious, and let's keep building the life and relationships you deserve. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.